formulating a plan to finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles.
Breaking right now, new calls for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to have their titles stripped.
Prince William to go to war with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
That is the future for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle, she makes everything awkward.
You keep saying Meghan.
Here's the promise. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact playbook royal strategists say Prince William could use to neutralize Harry and Meghan's influence. What legal levers exist, how a letters patent or an act of parliament would actually work, who else could be swept up, the PR sequence behind it, and the one image that reportedly turned caution into calculation. If you want to
I'm ignoring this, it will be your titles are stripped, you are gone, you are banished. He doesn't even want Harry at his
clear, step-by-step map of how a modern monarchy can rebrand with a single signature. Keep listening do we open with the drumbeat getting louder. Fresh calls from commentators and insiders for a hard reset, a boundary line that says only working royals get royal status. The chatter isn't about family drama anymore. It's about governance, brand control, and whether the Sussex label survives if the crown stops lending it oxygen. The headline version is simple, strip the titles, but the machinery behind that headline is anything but.
Rebranding in Montecito.
Prince William plans to flex his muscles and wipe his wayward brother Prince Harry and his power-hungry wife Meghan from the history.
This is about process, precedent, and power used quietly. Here's the working theory of the plan. Phase 1 framing. You don't make it a feud, you make it a reform. Royal aides float phrases like modernization and integrity of service. They shift conversation from personalities to policy. The question stops being, do you like Harry and Meghan? And becomes, should non-working royals carry royal styles? It's the difference between a fight and a framework. Phase 2, precedent. Every big change needs a case study, and royal watchers point to Prince Andrew as the cautionary tale that turned into leverage. The logic is ruthless but clean. If one non-working royal can be scaled down for reputational reasons, the rule can be codified for everyone.
Pressure grows on the UK Parliament, King Charles, and Prince William to take action on all the wayward.
Move the story from scandal to standards. Make the exception the template. Phase 3, the mechanism. 2 levers exist. A new letters patent, essentially a formal instrument redefining who uses which styles and when, or if you need bigger scaffolding, a tightly drafted parliamentary bill. Either path is procedural, not personal. You signal that HRH and certain princely titles are tied to duty, not lineage alone. Once the language lands,
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are going to have no role when Prince William becomes.
It doesn't call out anyone by name. It simply redraws the map, and names fall off it because the borders moved. Phase 4, political choreography. You let compassion speak from the throne and firmness speak from the future. The sitting monarch can be the empath in public. The heir apparent becomes the strategist in private. Parliament absorbs the heat of debate. The palace keeps the sentences short and the tone cool. In communications terms, low emotion, high clarity, no back and forth. Phase 5, the rollout. You do it once, not in drips. One announcement, one policy, one cut. No appeals, no grandfathering, no ambiguity. The point is to close the loop before a counter-narrative can form. The moment the ink dries, the brand confusion ends. Now, why would this happen at all? Because every institution eventually chooses between being liked and being legible. The monarchy tried patience, distance, and silence. What it got in return was months of counter-programming, interviews, podcasts, documentaries, and memoir cycles that turned private disputes into public content. At some point, brand managers stop asking how to hug a problem and start asking how to remove its incentives. If titles create leverage in Hollywood and on speaking circuits, removing them removes the multiplier. That's not emotion. That's mechanics. But there's a deeper trigger, and it isn't a clause in a statute, it's an image. Think back to the viral photograph royal watchers always bring up, a dutiful heir performing optics that read as humiliation. For words in captions that screamed compromise. If you believe the insiders, that was a switch flip. The lesson was simple. Optics set the weather. If you want calm, you don't wait for better storms, you change the climate. From that day, the vibe around the heir reportedly shifted from smoothing to pruning. Not spite, strategy to let's talk casualties and scope. In a clean modernization sweep, it wouldn't just be Harry and Meghan affected. Non-working royals across the board could see styles tightened or removed. The messaging writes itself, a streamlined household for a modern nation. It's not about punishing individuals, it's about clarifying roles. And that's the kind of sentence civil servants love because it travels as, oh, what happens if the Sussex titles go? The immediate loss is symbolic. The downstream loss is commercial. Royal style confers context, and context is currency. Without it, the brand must stand on pure merit, content, projects, and delivery, without the built-in intrigue of crowns and coats of arms. That doesn't mean their platform dies. It means the price of attention rises. Every appearance needs more substance. Every deal needs more proof. The halo becomes a headlamp. You have to power it yourself. Countermoves exist. Expect a pivot to values-based branding, impact, philanthropy, community building, entrepreneurial ventures, and a tighter U.S. media footprint. Expect legal clarity. If and when styles change, the messaging will stress that children's identities and well-being remain protected and private. Expect a renewed push to own the narrative through docuseries and long-form profiles built around resilience, not royalty. If the oxygen line is cut, the smartest response is to build your own air supply, but there's a risk for the palace, too. Overreach is real. Move too hard, and you hand your critics a cudgel about cruelty and control. That's why this plan, if it exists, is calibrated like a medical procedure, short, clean, and justified on governance grounds. The goal would be to keep public opinion focused on clarity of roles, fiscal responsibility, and the apolitical dignity of the sovereign, not on interpersonal vendetta. If the message stays service over status, it lands. If it drifts into score settling, it backfires. Let's add the family layer. The king's instinct, by most accounts, leans conciliatory, the heir's pragmatic. Those instincts can coexist. Compassion from the sovereign doesn't preclude structure from the successor. In narrative terms, the father demonstrates grace, the son ensures durability. That isn't contradiction. That's succession doing its job. Zoom out to the real question. What is a monarchy in the age of feeds and friction? It's a brand that survives by scarcity. The fewer people who carry its symbols, the more those symbols mean. The value proposition is service first, ceremony second, spectacle never. If you accept that premise, a sweeping reform isn't a grudge, it's a maintenance drill. You tighten the bolts before the bridge sways. Oh, here's the distilled playbook you came for. 1. Frame it as standards, not scolding. 2. Cite precedent and public interest. 3. Change the rules in writing, letters patent if narrow, parliament if comprehensive. 4. Execute once, with finality. 5. Communicate with restraint. 6. Let critics punch air while you refuse the brawl. 7. Move on to policy and projects that make the reform fade into the background hum of normal. And if you're asking what this means for Harry and Meghan specifically, here's the sober read. Without formal styles, the only sustainable route is output that compels on its merits. Ideas that land, initiatives that measure impact, stories that resonate beyond the crown. It's harder, but it's also cleaner. If they deliver, the audience stays. If they don't, the spotlight narrows. Titles amplify, they don't create. Remove the amplifier and you find out what the music really sounds like. Your turn. Is a standards-based reform the overdue fix that restores clarity, or is it a bridge too far that risks turning a constitutional symbol into a corporate switchboard? Drop your prediction, then hit subscribe if you want unflinching breakdowns of the legal levers, media plays, and brand math behind royal headlines. Next up, I'm mapping the exact language a letters patent would need to tighten HRH eligibility and the 3 scenarios where Parliament would step in instead. Stay sharp. When the reset comes, it won't be loud.
It'll be signed.